California's Proposition 30 passed last month. The proposition includes a whole host of tax increases and was pitched as a way to get more state funding for education. Now, my next guest says this law hits California's entrepreneurs particularly hard and watch them start businesses elsewhere. Here to explain how, Ethan Anderson. He's a former Google guy, also co-founder of Red Beacon, an online home services marketplace that was bought by, well, congratulations, Home Depot earlier this year. Ethan, good to see you.
Hi, Dagan. Thanks for having me.
The tax rate, the top tax rate in the country will now be in the state of California, assuming we go back to the 39.6% rate, 53% tax rate in that state, and it's retroactive to the beginning of the year. How crazy is that?
I think it's very unusual. It's really the first time I've ever seen a retroactive tax, and it goes back to January 1st of 2012, like you mentioned. And one of the things I think that was really surprising to me and a lot of my friends in Silicon Valley is it wasn't really described that way in the voter guide, which was sent to all of us. They neglected to mention the retroactive portion of it and in the summary in the voter guide. So I think a lot of people were really surprised by that.
I've actually talked to you about this years ago, that so many businesses still get started in Silicon Valley because that's where the talent is, and that the regulation in the state and the higher tax rates in the state don't matter. Will this really start to hurt business formation there, you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Well, first of all, let me just kind of get a few of the facts out, which are it's about a 30% tax increase going up to a top rate of 13.3% on capital gains. So as you know, the federal capital gains rate is 15%. So what California has done is almost double the capital gains rate from 15% to 28.3%. So I feel like California is an amazing place. Silicon Valley especially is an incredible ecosystem of entrepreneurs, investors, business partners, employees. But at some point, I do believe that there's going to be a straw that breaks the camel's back, and the tax increase of this magnitude that goes back in time and taxes wealth that was already taxed, I think that could actually be something that does start to spark an exodus from the state.
Well, it seems as if it was clearly done to target the Facebook wealth created from the IPO, was it not? To go back and collect a higher tax on that wealth that was created and realized.
Right. So I think that's right. I think there's no question that Facebook was an impetus for this increase. And one of the things that's really interesting is that Facebook took 8 years to go public. That's actually the exact average, 8 years from a company to start to when it's acquired or has an IPO, if it does at all. Of course, over 90% of companies fail completely. So what happened is a lot of those Facebook entrepreneurs, especially in the beginning, worked for either no salary or very low salary. And then all at once there was an IPO, and all of those taxes hit at one time. And so California wanted to tax that at a higher rate, so they passed a retroactive tax increase to target that money from the IPO.
Ethan, final word from you on this. What do you think is the immediate impact from these higher taxes in the state?
You know, I think the immediate impact will not be felt. I think it's going to be over a couple of years because decisions have already been made. Since this was only passed a month ago, it's hard to reverse those decisions. For instance, I'm starting a new company right now. You know, that boat has already sailed. But when I'm ready to start another company, I'm really going to think hard about whether California is the right place to do it.
What is it, Ethan? Can you tell us? What are you doing?
The new startup? The new startup is going to be, it's also in the local space like my last startup, but it's really focusing on automatically filling open appointment times for small businesses.
Awesome. Love to hear about it in the future. Ethan, thank you so much. It was great to see you, my friend. Ethan Anderson, co-founder of Red Beacon.
All right, so this is supposed to be, the most wonderful time of the year for all the retailers, but apparently not all of the biggest names on the street are celebrating.
Talk to us, Sandra Smith. She has today's trade.
Hey, Connell. Hey, Dagan. Well, now it's not all about just those one days like Cyber Monday or Black Friday sales. Now it's about investors picking the winners and losers when it comes to the retail space as we near the actual Christmas day and all those shoppers head out for last-minute shopping. Look at Abercrombie & Fitch. I want to point out that intraday in the session, reaching the highs of the session right now, a stock that's really made a big comeback since Black Friday. Look at this spike that it's been experiencing. This is the teen retailer did get an upgrade